I know, I've been determined for ages to get you to love off-road riding as much as I do. Whenever we've done it in the past, you always seem to moan about it.
And cry like a little girl, yeah.
You are definitely like a little girl. But when I heard about BMW off-road skills, I just thought it would be perfect for you to go back to basics and then hopefully get bitten by the off-road bug.
I must admit, it's something that I've never really wanted to do in the past or looked forward to, but I think it was about time I faced my demons. But one question, did we have to go all the way to Wales for it?
What's wrong with Wales? My granddad was from Wales.
That
After a bit of a
explains
mission,
quite
we
a lot.
arrived at our cosy hotel in the Brecon Beacons.
Now, we say it was a bit of a mission, and it was, because normally it's about a 3.5-hour journey from where we are to Wales, but it was turned into a 6-hour journey because Muggins here halfway through started to inform us that she'd left her suitcase at home.
Whoops.
So after a good night's rest at the hotel from the rather long journey, it was time to head off to the Off-Road Skills Centre in the morning and get allocated our bikes.
Yeah, now both Luke and I were allocated the GS 1200s, and I was a little bit nervous about this prior, and then when I got there and saw it, I thought there's no way that I'm going to be able to be on that all day.
Even I was intimidated by the size of the 1200, but I was told in no uncertain terms by one of the instructors to man up and get on with it. So then it was time for us to get on the bikes and head off for a 15-minute journey on road to the practice area.
Yeah, I was really excited actually, because when we got there I realised it was where I did Dawn to Dusk, and I've always told you how difficult it was, and I wanted you to see how truly hard it was.
I mean, imagine my surprise though, because you've been going on about how tough it was, and there's me doing my first bit of off-roading, and you're like going, oh, this is Dawn till Dusk. I was like, what have I let myself in for?
But I thought it'd be brilliant to have another go at those really tricky parts. When we got to the practice area, we didn't even start the bikes for the first hour or so, did we?
Yeah, which I thought was a bit odd at kind of off-road skills school, but then I realised why. As you said, they were taking it back right to basics, and for me the first thing I needed to learn properly was how to pick up a bike.
Easy as that.
Looking at the GSs, you think if they fall over, little old me is never going to be able to pick them up, knowing the correct technique or not.
I must admit, I thought even muscular old me would have problems, but then I saw Jenny, who was, what, 5 foot nothing and very petite. She managed to pick it up so easily, I realised, yeah, it's all in the hips, as they say.
That is by far the most difficult part.
Thank you.
And get your knee in there like Jenny does. That's it. Go on, you got it. Good job.
So up next, it was time to learn about the balance point of the bike, and this is a fact that even with the GSs being uber heavy, and the 1200 weighs over 300 kilograms, if it's within a certain plane, you can actually hold the bike up and walk around it with just 2 fingers, unlike the windshield, the petrol tank filler, or from behind.
Then finally we got to start the bikes, but we still couldn't ride them. It was all about walking around the car park using 2 fingers on the clutch and 2 fingers on the brake. I much prefer to ride them.
And then the fun stuff really started. They taught us how to stand up properly on the bike, which, no surprise, my technique was rubbish, and they even got us to go around the car park nice and slowly, learning about cornering.
So we're gonna go through the gate here, the 2 yellow cones, and then wind our way up there. So that means going around the outside of the blue cone there.
Yeah, how did you find the slalom?
Slalom I didn't mind so much, actually. I found that quite easy, and it was great because it taught you about turning your head where you want to go and your hips while you're standing on the bike. But then I found the squares bit a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I've got a real habit of looking down. As soon as you look down, you lock the wheel and then you fall off. Yeah.
So once you've got that balance right, it makes it so much easier, do you know what I mean? Because you're not getting tired, you're not focusing on that.
I felt a bit wobbly at some point.
At this point, my confidence was sky high, and I actually think I was a little bit better at the slow manoeuvring stuff than Susie was.
Yeah, whatever.
Probably my favourite part of the car park exercises when we learned how to do the skids, especially the back wheel skids.
I wanted to do that all day.
It was the most fun thing I've ever did and make me feel like a riding god. You literally hammer it up to the line, grab the clutch and just slam on the back brake, and as long as you don't take your foot off the back brake until you come to a stop, you're okay.
We had a front brake exercise. How did you find that?
That was a little bit more daunting because looking at the front wheels, not something you really want to do on the road that much. But once you got used to it, literally just by pulling in the brake until you felt it lock and then letting go and getting on the gas, it became not as daunting, shall we say.
All courses I've been on, they go back to basics, and sometimes this can seem a little bit tedious. But here, I'm really glad they did. We then got to put all that training into practice with a trail ride.
At this point, what amazed me is neither should have crashed. Yet.
Day Day 2, I was feeling bright and breezy, but somebody got out the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, overnight, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I got overconfident, but something unclicked in my brain technique-wise. And when Simon took us out for our first trail run a day, mixing loads of declines, inclines, and everything we kind of learned on day 1, I don't know if I was getting overconfident, but my technique went to pot. And, well, Stroppy Wilkins came out. Stroppy
was an understatement. Is that first drop?
I'm trying to persuade myself we have to, so my brain doesn't freak out. Do you know what I mean? Just go with it, all right? Where is everyone? Oh, you're there?
Duh.
I'm a dildo.
But to be fair to Luke, before he lost his cool, we did actually do some hill recoveries, and he was quite good at that.
So, but with the 2 fingers or the 1 finger, you can just, again, just gently, gently, gently find that biting point till it's just creeping. And if you want to stop, let the clutch go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Turn the steering all the way right, all the way left, and right, and left. Okay? And again, with very little energy. Before you know it, you're facing back down the hill.
It is heavy.
Not when it's balanced.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Looks good, eh? Perfect.
The bit I struggle with is when you get to the edge and you have to let go of everything and just trust the bike. Scariest thing ever.
Simon and the team really instill lots of confidence within you, and it's a women-friendly course. At no point did I feel intimidated.
You're looking in control to me, Susie. You're here and you're up there.
Trust me, mate, I would never have even gone down that hill before this morning. Walking, let alone riding one of these things.
I would walk down there, that's terrifying. Yeah. That's what you need bikes for.
If you ever do a course and Luke's in your group, I'd advise you to change groups because he's a little bit like an excited puppy, and after a few hours spent with him, it gets a little bit tedious.
Got my back out, giving it a bit of that.
Managed to control it and stay on.
Wasn't scared at all, totally intentional, honest.
Left a brown trail.
Then it came to inclines, and Susie, this is where it started getting a little bit wrong for me, didn't it?
I think as you were getting tired, you were getting a little bit of target fixation, weren't you?
Yeah, everything you look at in off-road riding, you generally tend to hit, and I was starting to notice the big pointy boulders as we were going up hills rather quickly, and my brain, for the first time in the couple of days that we've been doing it, suddenly realised that I could crash and it could all go wrong and I could get rather hurt.
It was so funny because he was blaming his goggles.
They were steaming up, it was all the goggles' fault. For me, the best thing about the course was learning from this guy.
My name's Simon Pavey. My kind of background has been rally racing, really. So I've been to Dakar 9 times, 7 finishes, which is kind of the thing I'm most proud of, I guess. Yeah, but I've also had a long history of involved in teaching off-road as well since before we started the off-road school. I had some other programs before, but out of Dakar, in the second time I did Dakar 1999, we came up with this concept that we run with now for the off-road school. So yeah, we started the off-road school, as I say, with the concept that you've seen in the last 2 days, and the concept is very much about taking people that have got no off-road experience and putting a load of building blocks in and step by step building confidence and showing people that they can do it, really. And that that's level 1, and the whole foundation's all around that. It's all focused on core skills. They're all skills that are transferable back into your road riding and build confidence in your general motorcycling, I think. And the goal is that it's a bit of fun as well. And so out of that, over time, we've now got a whole program with a level 2 and a level 3 and some adventure rides and some tours. We do a tour in Portugal and we do some workshop classes and so on and so forth. It was a little bit by accident, I suppose, in the first place that we went to BMW, but it came from, we were starting to do some stuff with magazines when we first set the off-road school up. And that message out there that for road riders that off-roading can help your road riding. So with the adventure bikes, they're a little bit closer to what people know and what they understand. We have a program with enduro bikes as well, but the adventure bikes is, I think it's what people are into. And as we all know, we've seen in the last 10 years, adventure bikes have grown, and of course we've had the the whole program with Charlie and so on and so forth. And yeah, it works for the customer and it works for us. You know, it's that halfway house between becoming a hard off-roader and actually just taking a few skills and bolting them onto your road bike. So yeah, the adventure bike thing's perfect.
Now, one of the key techniques of doing incline, Suze, is all about using the bike's momentum, isn't it? Yeah,
if you're out on a long trail or enduro ride, there'll be some hills where you don't know what's at the top.
Yeah, man. So Simon got us doing this little activity where we would come up a hill using the bike's momentum so that when we got to the top, we'd immediately turn around. Now, this is where I really started to struggle, obviously because of my goggles.
Look, eyes right.
He was getting really tired because it was important when you got to the top that you didn't use the brake because you were cornering straight away. So it looked very easy when Simon was doing it.
Well, everyone got it.
Trying it. Well, we did.
Everyone got it, and I didn't. I kept going up the top of the hill and just keep going straight.
Now, we were really lucky with the weather in Wales. In fact, it was quite dusty, and Simon said this is quite unusual because usually it's raining. So he thought it was time that we got a bit muddy.
Yeah, now, surely riding through mud on paper is really simple, especially when your instructor, Simon Pavey, says to avoid the left-hand side of this very deep puddle. But what did I go and do, Suze?
You went on the left.
Yeah.
So I was actually watching your mental breakdown and I saw you crash, which was the lamest crash ever, by the way.
I did just come to a stop, put my foot out in the mud and then just fall over to one side, yeah.
When Luke fell off in the swampy bit, I got really excited. I wanted to go in there, get that GS 1200 out, because I love a bit of mud.
Susie, straight in there. All right, I'll let you two carry on then.
Go, right, ready?
Luke, can't believe you couldn't pick that up on your own.
Oh, sorry.
It's pretty sunk.
Susie, just let the clutch out. Let it out. Let it out. Go on, more gas. More gas.
I hate to say this, but Susie, you're my hero.
Fair play.
Oh yeah.
Now at this point I was in full-on Wilkins meltdown, so I went away to give myself a bit of a pep talk and then to watch Susie do something I can describe as completely insane.
Yeah, I took full advantage of Simon's lunch hour, unfortunately, but I wanted to go back to those dawn to dusk parts that really beat me last year.
Snick it into gear and go up there.
We're going to have a go at this hill, and are we going to have a go at the downhill?
Absolutely, yeah, we'll go and have a look at that
This
next.
downhill, actually, it doesn't look incredibly steep, but at the bottom there's a steep drop-off, isn't there?
Indeed.
And that's where my back wheel was coming off. I thought it was gonna,
yeah,
I was going to
be
cartwheel
honest,
down.
That last bit is really steep. It's one of those bits where you look over the edge and go, okay, gotta just let go of the brakes now.
Yeah, I really wanted to master getting in and out of that quarry. That was like my goal.
It looked like the hardest thing ever. I mean, I thought we'd been doing quite steep hills, inclines and declines, but the actual section from the dawn to dusk that you wanted to improve on, that uphill bit, there was no path. It was just a really steep incline full of rocks and roots and everything, and you just went straight up there.
But then it came to the downhill bit into the quarry.
Yeah, that became rather interesting, shall we say.
Did I go too fast over the top, do you think?
Maybe.
As I was coming down the hill, all I could see was the arse end of the GS 1200 coming at me quickly.
Now at this point, I actually thought she'd done herself a serious injury, but then all you could hear throughout the quarry was her laughing and just going, "I'm sorry about the bike."
Rodeo ride.
Sorry.
Now the biggest thing Simon drilled into us was to go as slowly as you could at the start of an incline.
What? I like going fast. After making a bit of a mess of the quarry
And the bike.
and the bike, Simon took us back to join the group and he found this really steep, long hill for us to go up and down. You were back with us at that point, were you? Back on form, but then he said you've got to go back up it.
He literally turned around and said, "Right, lad, you're going to go back up that hill." And I waited till everyone else had gone and then turned around to him and was like, "No, not going to happen." There was a sheer literally kind of edge to it, wasn't it, at the top last 5 metres, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting over it. But Simon said, Luke, trust me, give it the full beans in second gear and you'll make it over that crest. Simon told me if at any point you think you're going to crash, well, you're going to crash.
Now, I was at the top actually waiting for him, and I didn't see it, but all I heard was this almighty crash where he'd obviously hit a tree.
The feeling of getting over the top of that incline was incredible. The feeling of hitting the tree, not so good.
Our team was great. There was loads of bondage going on. I mean, bonding.
After 2 days of crashing, probably being the most tired I've ever been, throwing tantrums and everything else, thanks to Simon and his team and, well, my personal guardian angel here, I blooming well loved it. I just want to do it again.
The good thing is, even if you are an off-road rider, like me, I learnt so much and they instill so much confidence into you, don't they, Simon and the guys?
Well, you conquered those bits that from the dawn to dusk, which you never thought you'd do, so I think we both took a lot away from the experience. And if they can teach me, trust me, they can teach anyone. So Susie, have you seen what's been going on our Facebook and Twitter?
It's